anyways. Right. Whatever point I'm trying to make, they're going to take that and run with it.
Well, I got it.
And so that's what brought me to the conclusion of doing my podcast.
Right.
Because now I can express how I feel. I can say what I want. And I know it's coming straight from the mouth of me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. To our regular viewers, thank you for the support. To our new viewers, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Stephen A. Smith has claimed that some athletes have tried to get various sports journalists fired over questions they didn't want to answer. During his visit to Paul George's podcast P Show, Stephen A. reflected on his career while addressing the situation between himself and actor Jackie Long, who criticized him in an earlier episode. At one point in the podcast, Paul George spoke about wanting to do a podcast so that journalists wouldn't twist up anything he said. Stephen A. agreed with Paul George, stating that he had the right idea by going with that approach, taking matters into his own hands. He, however, explained that a journalist's job is at risk if the burning questions aren't asked. According to him, an athlete can say they are worth a lot of money but struggle during play, making people question whether the athlete is worth the money in the first place. On the other side, the journalistic side, Smith claimed if a reporter doesn't ask a question regarding the athlete's play relating to the money they think they are worth, the editor will send the reporter home. So this is the dilemma in this particular topic. I totally get Stephen A's point. These athletes get paid a lot of money. I totally understand they work extremely hard to be successful. At the same time, they need to understand that they are very lucky. They are privileged. Some of them earn enough money in a single year to sustain them the rest of their lives. What they forget is they are celebrities, and this is what happens to celebrities. Let's now listen to Stephen A. talk about this topic.
Anyways, whatever point I'm trying to make, they're going to take that and run with it.
Well, I got it.
And so that's what brought me to the conclusion of doing my podcast.
Right. Because
now I can express how I feel. I can say what I want, and I know it's coming straight from the mouth of me. I don't got to worry about clickbait. I had this conversation with this personnel, and this is the part that he wanted to put in his story. It's coming from me now. It's my story.
That's cool. And you're right to do that. You're not wrong. Right? So anybody that tells you you're wrong is wrong. But there's a flip side to it that you might not have considered. Did you know that if a reporter walks up, let's say, for example, Paul George is, yo, man, I think I'm worth $50 million. I want this contract. And then you struggling. Do you know that if that reporter goes up to you and doesn't ask you about that, the editor's like, come here. Why do I have you on the beat? You going home. You got to understand that everybody has a job to do. A lot of times, particularly if it's a beat writer and it's somebody that's in that locker room after every game and is talking, is cultivating a relationship with you, they know you. So the last thing they want to do is come up to you and ask you that question. They have no choice because their job is on the line. And no matter how bad your game was that day, your contract guaranteed. And it's for a gazillion times more than that journalist made. You know, you got cats that, and they're going to remain nameless as players, because I'm not going to do that to them. But when I went hard on a couple of superstar players, I happen to know for a fact they tried to get a couple of journalists fired. And it's because the journalists asked them about something that they were hearing. And they brought up the brother. But when Woj reported it, or Shams reported it, you ain't say shit. Now, see, that's when Stephen A., now that Bronx, that Queens dude comes out. Oh, so we gonna call a brother out making 75, 85, maybe 100,000 that they can wipe off the map in a heartbeat, and you fucking know it. And you would do that to him. But the white dude, Woj, Shams, whatever, and I work, Woj and I have a good relationship, respect the hell out of him. He's the ultimate insider, stuff like that. Shams does a great job as well. I'm not throwing no shade on them. Right. I'm saying, I'm watching the athlete. You said nothing. And that's when you see me, you like, what's wrong with Stephen A? Why he coming like that? What's going on? Because I'm pissed. Because I know intel and I know what you're doing and I know how you tried to do it. You sit up there one time and it's like KD talk about people don't know what they talk about. And I love KD. That's my dog. I love him to death. But he was talking about people don't know what the hell they talk about when they were talking about him wanting to leave OKC. And you going off. But then you left. You left. You see what I'm saying? They weren't lying. They weren't lying. You know, I mean, it's like you see cats and it's like, yo, you making tens of millions per. You getting mad and trying to end the careers of cats, because if they get fired, how many brothers gonna get fired? You working at Yahoo Sports, you working at ESPN, you working at some other network, and you get bounced out. How many brothers you can look at and say, yo, you gonna have another job tomorrow? It ain't like that. And it doesn't ever cross their mind. And so for me, I understand what you're saying, but I would use Roy Williams, a former basketball coach in North Carolina. He was at Kansas. They lose the national title game. And the reporter has to ask him, are you going to leave Kansas City? Kansas, is this your last game? Are you going to North Carolina? Now, who the hell don't know? That's the worst. That's the absolute last question he wants. He just lost the national title. He got kids in the locker room crying. Nobody wants to do that. That reporter had no choice because the producers in her ear and the bosses are back in the studio. You better ask this question. And by the way, it's not subliminal. They literally have an IFB in their ear and they're telling them, ask the question. Ask the question. The difference between me and most, I have the power to take the IFB out. Shut the hell up. I ain't asking that. This is what I'm going to ask. But even I have a tenets of journalism that I have to ask. If you sat up there and just got arrested last night and you come on my show today, I got an obligation to ask you what happened.